AJ or Fury?
See, that's a hard one. That's a 50-50. That's what I'm saying.
What did you make of Tyson's victory over Deontay Wilder?
To me, he was weird, man. It was like a pantomime to me. He was weird. Obviously, I can't knock it from him. He boxed beautiful. Doing what he said he was going to do. Take it to him. And when he came in, how heavy he came in, I knew he was going to use his weight. At that weight, that's when weight matters. All that leaning on you. But, like, going back to AJ Fury, it is a 50-50 because Tyson Fury is very long, he's heavy, he's awkward. But then if you look at Anthony Joshua, his inside works real good. He's good at short distance. So with Tyson Fury trying to fight the way he fought Deontay Wilder, rushing him and lying on him, I think Anthony Joshua would use those shots. For Tyson Fury to win, he'd have to make it awkward and just keep moving and not let him sit. That's how we'd beat him. But it's a 50-50, I think.
The general consensus from the boxing communities, Fury's the best mover, the best technician in the ring. AJ can do a bit of both. He can bang and he can move. And then
That's it.
That destructive right hand that we've seen throughout his career. Do you think AJ will pose more of a threat to Fury than what Deontay Wilder did?
Definitely. Obviously, before that, Wilder was this scary guy banging at everybody, but he didn't really fight anybody. The only person he fought to me was Ortiz, and Ortiz gave him a lot of problems, but he was past it. And then when he came back and obviously knocked him out the second time, people thought, oh, he's this killer, this, that. But the second fight with Fury showed his level, really. If you stick it on him, he can't fight. He's too long and he can't fight inside. He kind of showed his level.
How do you think Usyk will get up at heavyweight?
I think he could do well, Funny enough, I remember when I went to, the World Series boxing, WSB. And like I said, back then, I had no clue of who the boxers was and so on. And my godfather, Joe, he took me down to watch Ukraine via GB Line Arts. And I was like, this is boring, man, all my days. And then Usyk came on against Joe Joyce. And I was like, what is this, man? You got this geezer, like, proper stiff and upright. And then you got this other geezer with, like, football trainers on, dancing everywhere. I was like, what? This is weird, man. And then, obviously, when I learned about who he was, it was weird how he operated in that ring, like at heavyweight. He's fast. He's got the awkward angles, and he can bang still. So I think he'll do well. Obviously, I think the big heavyweights, he needs to kind of, push them to the side. But, like, the domestic levels, I think he will beat him pretty easy.
Something I was going to ask, obviously, the biggest guys have been the weight, Fury and AJ, who have those world titles. And you've got the likes of Andi Ruiz Jr., Dillian White, Derek Chisora, who Usyk was going to face. How do you think, firstly, Usyk will fare against somebody like a Derek Chisora?
I think he'll play with him, really. I think he'll play with him pretty easy. You can't take it away from Chisora. He's a warrior, which is the same, or tuck up, walk forward and take shots. You can't do that against someone at Usyk's level, really. You'll either knock him clean out or just play with him for 12 rounds. And that's not a fight that would interest me. That would be pretty boring, to be honest.
Someone just brought up Daniel Dubois in the chat. Obviously, you've worked with AJ now for a while. There was that story that previously went around about Daniel's possibly knocking AJ down. I don't know if he was down or out during a sparring session. Do you have any information that you can share with us about that?
I don't know. I wasn't on the squad then, so
I know you weren't on the squad, but has anything been spoken about since?
Nah. It's just whatever's happened. I wasn't there, and no one spoke to me about it, so I don't know.
How do you think Dubois Joyce will go?
That's to me, that's a real 50-50. To me, it's a bit early, I think. For both of them, really. Actually, well, Joe Joyce, he's kind of getting on, so he needs to fight now. But then Dubois, he's same age as me. He was on the squad together, us two. So I think he should have took his time and kind of worked his way around that, truthfully. But I got to give him all the credit he deserves to take a fight like that so early. And it's a 50-50. I was really interested in that. I wanted to see that.
There's obviously a lot of hype around Daniel Dubois at the minute, especially on the back of his victory against Nathan Gorman last year now. Was it last year? It might have been the year before now. What are your thoughts on Daniel's career and his progression? Do you see him challenging for a world title in the coming years?
Yeah, 100%. even he says he's still got a lot to learn, which I think he has. His jab's beautiful. Everything about him's beautiful, but he just needs more of it. He doesn't throw a lot of shots. And if he doesn't knock him out, he kind of doesn't have a plan B, kind of. He doesn't know what to do. So I think he just needs to work on tactics and a bit of fitness. And I think he's got everything to go really.
Which fighter would you give the best chance of beating Artur Beterbiev in the pros?
Is Bivol his weight, isn't he?
Yeah.
I'd say him.
You think Bivol? See, a lot of people, whenever I say a lot of people look at Bivol, because Bivol said himself he can make 168, he could move out. So the natural weight difference could play out. Do you see
like
that?
Joby loves him. Joby loves him. He studies him a lot. It's he was a real good high amateur. Obviously, Russia's one of them places where they've got like 5 top amateurs, and like sometimes they're number 3 or 5 better than the number 1. Sometimes politics over there, but I think he's really good, man. He picks his shots well. He's got a good bang on him. Look at Callum, what's his name, Johnson or whatever did against him. And I think Bivol's a different level to him. So it is a good fight, 50-50 fight, but I think he could give him a run for his money.
Boxing Socials, Rob Tebbett has just replied, too small.
No, it is. Weight ain't nothing.
Yeah.
It's how you use it. Do you know what I mean? Anyone can be as big as the one. It's using that weight.
You seem to be enjoying that donut, mate. Another question coming in, man. Yard or Buatsi?
Buatsi. Definitely.
Are you saying that just because obviously your allegiances will be with him? Because obviously
I'm honest. If I thought Yard, I'd say Yard. I mean, I love Josh and all that, but if I thought the other way, I'd say you got to be like that. But I just think that amateur pedigree Buatsi's had, and the way he's showing his fights now, it just looks a different level, man. Yard's a class kid, but after that Kovalev fight, he showed a lot of flaws, and I think someone like Buatsi could exploit them.
There's a lot of talk at the minute about, Josh is on the verge of a world title fight, or is ready at least to be able to step up for one. Do you see that yourself when you've been working with him? Do you think, he could go and have a crack now and fight for one version of a world title?
I think it's a little bit too early now. I wouldn't rush it, because when you're at the top, you can't come down now. So if I was him, he's got a lot of hype in him, and Eddie Hearn's trying to push him a bit too fast. I would say just keep getting the rounds in. Each fight get a little bit of a harder opponent who's challenged for a world title, this and that. Because there's nothing worse than getting up there. Fair play if he wins a world title, but when you're up there, everybody's gunning for you then. And you probably wished he waited a little bit longer. If you think about it, 2016 is not that far away. And he's on the world title ranks already. It's kind of a rush, I think. He just needs to take his time. I mean.
Do you think Callum Johnson can win a world title?
You can never say never, but I just don't think so.
What do you think of Canelo? Do you think that he could fight any of the other 175 champions? Obviously, after beating Kovalev, do you think he could compete at that weight? Or do you think he just needs to move back down to at least super middle, if not middle?
Yeah, I think he needs to move down, because even though what he did to Kovalev was crazy, Kovalev was kind of like, he's a bit past it, a bit old, and not the way he was. I think if he was in his prime like how he was, it would have been a completely different fight. But I can't take away from Canelo. He's one of my favourite pros. He's a beast, man. He can fight and he can box. That's what I like.
Canelo was obviously on the verge of not facing Billy Joe Saunders, but the fight was close to being announced. What do you make of that fight?
Yeah, it's a good fight, because if you look at all of Canelo's fights where he's kind of had problems, it's movers. And one of my favourite boxers, Erislandy Lara. I thought, truthfully, I thought Erislandy won that fight. A lot of people are hearsay, but to me, he won it. He picked him off, he span him off, made him look silly at points. He looked nice, but it's just if Billy Joe could keep that up all through the 12 rounds, because if you sit there with someone like Canelo, he will take you out, man.
Another guy who had been mentioned for that Canelo fight, and for Billy Joe Saunders as well, Callum Smith. How do you think Callum Smith would have fared against Canelo? Obviously, he's massive at super middleweight. Everybody knows he could naturally move up to light heavy and compete comfortably as a light heavyweight. But what are your thoughts on if he was to face Canelo at some point?
He's a bit of a dark horse. He doesn't get mentioned that much, but his last performance against Ryder, was it? It didn't look good at all, man. And if that was a Canelo in there, it would have been over. It wouldn't even make the rounds. I don't think. I would think Canelo would have took him out. So he needs to think what he's gonna do with his weight, because the weight looked like it played a big part there, and you can't be doing that against top level kids because you'll get hurt.
Another question: Ben Whittaker versus Anthony Yard.
I'd smoke him. Hey, we'll get there when we get there. Now, I'm still an amateur, so I have to still learn. But I've got full belief in my abilities, my height, my speed. What I do to people like that.
Just mention some of the guys, then, for those who don't know, that you have sparred with.
My area I've sparred, obviously Tommy Langford, Sam Editon when I was a welterweight. I sparred. I'm one of Buatsi.
You was a welterweight. I'm sorry, when you was a welterweight.
When I was a welterweight, man.
What sparring Josh Buatsi like?
Yeah, it was good. Obviously, I've got the movement, the height, and the speed to his power and things like that. So it was kind of perfect. He needs to work on more boxers and more movers. And what I wanted to work on with him was obviously standing there, being able to ride the shots and work him inside. So that's what we've been working on, really. He tries to box a little bit more, and I'll work on coming forward. So it's perfect. If we can both work on what we're not good at, we'll get better, really. So.
Josh has obviously he's had very little experience in the ring as a pro because he's been stopping his opponents early on.
Yeah.
When you're sparring him, do you still see an amateur style, or do you see what he's changed and what he's kind of manoeuvred to with regards to a professional one?
Yeah, to me, his style, because a lot of people say he's got the typical amateur style, this and tippy-tappy shots. But if you watched him as an amateur, he just fights the way he fights now. I wouldn't say it was pro or it was amateur. It was just his style. He just took his time and try to hurt people. That's what he tried to do. And it's really unknown, people getting knocked out clean in amateurs. And in the Olympics, he did it a few times. So that's why his profile went through the roof. So I just think he needs to just keep that. Obviously, when you're pro, even when I'm sparring him, he takes his time a little bit more. Would rather ride a shot or take a shot. But to me, I don't like to take any shot. And I think he should just go back to the way he fought in Rio. A bit more lighter on his feet. And he didn't like to take too many shots. I think it's the long run at the end of the day. Do you want to please the fans and take a clean shot and something can happen to you? Or do you just win and get that world title? That's what I say.
Obviously, just before I do ask a couple more of these questions, we briefly touched on him earlier, Lawrence Okolie, when we was talking about Joshua Buatsi and his potential to fight for a world title in the near future. Obviously, Okolie is mandatory now for the WBO.
Yeah.
Going to be facing Krzysztof Glowacki when the boxing schedule resumes. What are your thoughts on Lawrence? Do you feel he's ready for a world title fight?
His style's weird. His style's weird, man. I've seen him spar down at GB, and when he fights, he just actually saying that I went down to the Chamberlain fight because I thought, oh, the build-up's nice, man. This is gonna be a bad boy fight. And I was there like, this is a one-time. I've drove all this way, waited in all this traffic for this. I was like, this is ridiculous, but it doesn't matter sometimes. If your style works for you, it works. You know what I mean? And that's what it is. He's that awkward. It works. To me, I don't think he's ready yet. He should have a few more fights. But if he thinks he's ready and he believes in himself, why not go for it?
It's one thing with Lawrence. Everybody, he hasn't got a fan-friendly style. But
Nah.
for what he's achieved first and foremost in such a short amount of time, just shows how much credit he actually deserves. Because what he does, it might not be glamorous or.
I'll tell you a story.
It's effective and it wins.
I remember when I said, I just got on GB. Actually, it was on a thing called GB Emergent Talent. It's when you're like 16, 17, and they bring you in every month just to train with the squad. And he was there, and it was me, Kira McDonald, Niall Farrar, and a few other kids. And I was watching them do the tech work, and I was thinking, okay, if this is GB so-called top boxers, I want to see what they're like. So I was sitting there watching. And he was there doing all. I was like, "What is this?" I said, "What is happening, man?" And was like giggling to ourselves. I was like, "What's happening, man?" I was like, "We're definitely getting on the squad." If not being bad, I thought if he's on the squad, I'm getting on the squad, no doubt. And what I liked about him, he come over to me and said, "I look pretty, don't I?" And we thought he was joking. We said, yeah, if you say so. He goes, I know you're watching me, this, that. And then I went back and thought to myself, actually, I went back and then he fought in the WSB and knocked a kid out. And I thought to myself, okay, it's his confidence. It's his confidence that's what's got him where he is. A lot of people, when they get under them lights, they flap it. Where he gets under there and just does what he's got to do. You don't care if he style's boring. You don't care if the kid's had more experience than him. He just gets the job done. And that's what you got to do sometimes.